the verbiage filler fatigue is a real thing. I think when COVID happened and people were coming out of it, they were very excited to spend money on themselves. And so many medical professionals left medicine and opened up their own practice. And I'll be honest, I think everyone was stuffed full of filler, overstuffed. So the fillers nowadays last a long time. So I think filler fatigue isn't because they're sick of filler. I think they're sick of their post-COVID filler.
Tell me about yourself, your practice, where your location's at, and when you got started, and we'll jump off from there.
Wonderful. My name is Bobbi Bullock, and my flagship location is in Boise, Idaho. It's called Bobbi Bullock Medical Esthetics. I'm a nurse practitioner, and this is my 30th year of medicine.
Amazing. That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's a career. I've been injecting full-time for 12 years in downtown Boise, Idaho. I'm a trainer for Allergan and do a lot of podium speaking. I have a patent on how to correct facial asymmetry with dermal fillers.
Love it.
Yes,
that's amazing.
Thank you.
Just that short resume, no big deal. I'm not impressed. That's incredible. That's amazing. And so you have the practice in Idaho and you guys are expanding.
We did already expand. Okay. So we had 8 treatment rooms in Boise, and we offered injectables, Botox filler, then also Morpheus laser platform, and cool sculpting. We're the number one cool sculpting provider through the Idaho to the Inland Pacific Northwest.
Is summer part of your... Okay,
yes.
So we did, this is a slight tangent, we'll go back, but we met at a KOL, an Allergan KOL meeting about, might have been a year ago now.
Yes, that was her.
Okay, great.
She's my right hand.
Got it. She's awesome. So obviously that says a lot about you as well. Good leaders hire good leaders. So that's awesome. So, so you guys have expanded. You guys have a really good portfolio. As far as expansion goes, because I'm the director of strategic growth, so that is my jam, like really looking at how to identify opportunities for expansion, for growth. And I think that's a really big question a lot of people have, which is like, when do you make that decision to grow and expand? Because it can be nerve-wracking. What was it for you? What was that signal for you to expand, or that there was a need to expand?
Absolutely. And it's a great question. I always said I would not expand, but for the past 3 years, our growth had been stagnant, and we reached the ceiling on what we could produce, which was really interesting because, some people come, some people go, someone went on maternity leave, but we just couldn't grow. We were just staying at almost to $50,000, the exact same amount. And to keep talent, we have a 5-star med spa. Mm-hmm. To keep 5-star employees, there has to be an opportunity for growth, development, and to make more money. So we were looking for about a year and a half, and we had a lot of different concepts to expand. We have a very successful membership called the Beautiful Skin RX, which is product and services. Mm-hmm. We thought breaking that out as a different concept. But then we really realized people love what we do, and they just wanted a more convenient location. So we found a building that we were able to purchase just 12 miles away. And it's in the heart of the sprawl. It's in Meridian, Idaho, which is the boom town of Idaho.
Oh, very cool.
Yes. And it just fell into our lap.
Don't you love when that happens?
It was crazy. I was actually in an escrow to buy my house, and they were asking me, you should buy this. It's available. It was a women's health practice clinic. Oh, wow. And I was like, I can't, it's too much. I can't be in 2 escrows at the same time. And they were like, we'll owner finance it for you. So
you're like, okay, then.
How could we say no?
Man. And I think that's a big thing too, what you're saying, which I've seen that also. A couple of different things. One is either you just have no more capacity and you can't make any more rooms available because you have 8 rooms already. And you're like, where do we go from here? And you have people that are coming from long distances that are trying to make it work, that are inconsistent. And you're like, okay, well, I've got people coming from, an X mile radius away. Maybe I should be looking at building a location there. So I think there are a lot of reasons for expansion, but they're still nerve-wracking because you see the demand, but you are, like you mentioned, you're taking on this new location, and then the ownership of man, now I've got these providers that I've got to fill, and I've got to make sure that they have clients coming in. So what did you guys do to help grow your practice? So you expanded. What were some of your strategies kind of going into that to make sure that you kind of had a steady flow of business going in there? What did you experience during that time period?
That's a great question. We had a lot of different ideas going into it. So our spas are only 12 miles apart, but there is across a divide. There's that makes it into two different cities and two different vibes. One is downtown; it's the capital of Idaho, and then one is more suburbia. And we wanted people to feel that it was the same place, that it was the same experience, the same girlfriend experience, as we call it. And so we decided to decorate it exactly the same. So when you walk in, you know where you are. You know, someone just left us a review that said, Bobbi Bullock Medical Aesthetics is like Cheers, that when you walk
everybody
in,
knows your name.
Everybody knows your name.
Love that.
Exactly. And so
that's a nice compliment.
It was wonderful. So all of us employees, we work at both locations. We actually only had to hire one new person. And what this has done is now there's room. There's not only room to grow and room to see more patients, but there's more room for opportunity at all levels. So look at my medical assistant. You know, there's a hierarchy, the lead, and then how long people have worked there. And so there's always feeling that ceiling. Well, now on different days, there are two different locations. And so it gives someone a different opportunity to shine and to be the boss on that day. So everyone has really enjoyed the two locations, and we're all women, and you can kind of feel like a pressure cooker after a while. And so with different personalities at different places, now it's just kind of roll the dice, and everyone's it's a different mix.
You get to let the steam out a little bit too, because you get to go in different locations and have a new environment. Yeah.
And so we talked about it with our team that we didn't want to hire new people at this point because everyone wants to be busy.
Yeah.
And can everyone take on two roles? So our medical assistants are trained at the front desk and vice versa. And everyone knows how to set up the trays for the aesthetic room, for the injectable rooms.
I love that.
Everyone knows how to check people out. And so people really picked up the slack versus hiring new people. And it's been a beautiful experience. I thought it would add 10x to my work.
Yeah.
But I'll be really honest, I have the best employees in place, and it has taken away probably 20% of my stress.
That's amazing.
Because there's enough room and space for everyone to grow, and I trust the people at my locations.
That's incredible. So what would you say that has been your biggest challenge in this process?
In opening a second location?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question, and I hate to say it's been easy. It kind of has been
knock on wood.
easy. I know. Maybe the hardest thing is really telling this new neighborhood, hey, we're here. Because we moved into a saturated space, and people downtown knew how great we were. So people that have never been our client, I would say probably new client acquisition, where we're either bringing new people into the industry or we're taking from our competitors. But I was just looking at our numbers. We've been open 4 months, and we had 861 new clients to the practice in Meridian since we opened in 4 months.
That's awesome. That's great. That's really great. And so what are you guys doing? I know that you said that's kind of like the challenge is spreading the word, but what have you guys done to help grow that? Or is that just organic new client growth?
It's, we do a lot of SEO, which has been helpful.
Yeah.
And then social media is helpful, but I don't think social media goes as far as we think it does. I don't really think that attracts that many new clients.
Yeah, on your existing platform especially. Usually you're talking to a lot of your existing patients, not necessarily new patients.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. People really trust our providers, and they love the fact that they work at both locations. And let's say one of our clients that would travel to Boise to see us is like, I'm so happy you're in Meridian, and now I'm going to bring my neighbor.
Oh, good.
So a lot of third-party validation. And
those are the best referral. I mean, that's the best way to get new clients too, is referral. Because I think of that too when I'm asking for something that matters, like your face, the little thing like your face. You really do want that firsthand referral. And so even, I do think it's important to do some advertising. I think that helps grow your brand, but your really long-term, lifetime sticky patients are usually going to be referrals from other existing patients.
Exactly.
So being able to have those patients bring them in, I think is definitely key. And obviously you guys are experiencing that and seeing that. And then and another question too that I'm curious and I'm asking everyone, because again, as director of strategic growth, I'm kind of looking at big picture of our industry. I think that in the past years we were very predictable, and from being in the industry that it was seasonally based. We knew who our client was, we knew the conversation, very predictable for the most part. Within the last few years, I think because of social media, we've had more visibility, which was great because we had an influx, but now we've got the influencers influencing. And they're sharing things and stating things that we're seeing impact the industry as a whole across the platform. What are some of the trends that you've seen? What are some downturns that you've seen? And then do you think is on the horizon for our industry?
Well, that's very easy to see. The verbiage filler fatigue is a real thing. I think when COVID happened, and people were coming out of it, they were very excited to spend money on themselves. And so many medical professionals left medicine and opened up their own practice. And I'll be honest, I think everyone was stuffed full of filler, overstuffed. So the fillers nowadays last a long time.
Yeah.
So I think filler fatigue isn't because they're sick of filler. I think they're sick of their post-COVID filler, and that's going to have to wear off. People are definitely still focused on themselves. They're worried about the market and the economy. It's interesting when the president makes a big swoop, I'll see 5 people fall off my schedule, but then the next week I'll be triple booked. So I think it's that initial shock, and then we still got to live. We still got to live. And so they're still coming in, and I inject a lot of filler. I really focus on full facial correction, and I'm getting a lot of new clients that have never had filler. And those new clients aren't aware of filler fatigue.
Right.
They've never even heard of it.
Yeah, they have no fatigue. They haven't started yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They have desire. And so it's really just through education, and I dissolve a lot of misplaced filler. Really, I find education is my strongest suit on just telling people the art of the possibility with no pressure. And I also use a lot of adjectives when I do my descriptions, such as I want to talk about things that make you look sad, tired, and angry. And then I'll have them animate, and I'll say, do the lines around your eyes make you look happy or aged?
Yeah.
And then they get to make their opinion. And if it's happy, perfect.
Right.
You're a joyful person.
If it's sad, tired, and fatigued, then
right.
Let's talk.
Then let's talk. Exactly. So I think changing the messaging. Also, Botox is way up. January was our highest neuromodulator month we've ever had in the history of time.
Oh, wow.
And that's not the right month for that to happen in.
Yeah.
And so that was surprising. Aesthetics was also sky high, as were products. So I think a part of that is filler fatigue. I also think that filler was economy. The decrease in it was economy driven. But people still want to look good and feel good.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, this is where I'm going to spend my money. Yeah. But it's still all coming out in the wash.
Yes.
So last month we had our largest retail month we've ever had in the history of the company.
Interesting. Well, and I think that's the thing that's important for people to understand and to look at their numbers, is that while we're going through this transitional phase and while we're getting used to how our industry is evolving and we're all becoming more nimble, is not to panic. Just because filler is down, and it's never been down, it's never been this low, don't freak out. Like you said, change the conversation, change the way that we address it, understand what the conversations are, understand how to address them. But I also think you don't have to just lose the revenue. You're going to find it somewhere else. So as you mentioned, if that's in retail, if that's aesthetics, whatever that looks like, is we just evolve, we don't panic. Exactly. And so I think that's really in our industry where we need to go, is not only understanding the conversation externally with the patient and some of these new patients, to your point, that have never had filler, and attracting those, and what are the conversations we have to get those patients in, but also what are the conversations we have internally? What are the conversations we have with our staff, that we have with ourselves, to where we say, don't panic. Like what is the conversation, and let's create a new narrative. So I love that. And I do think that is something that I love that you guys are already embracing that. I think that's something that in our industry we're getting used to, is it's what always was isn't what always is going to be.
Exactly.
We're seeing that
you have
change.
to be able to pivot.
You have to.
And I ask people, what is your hesitation? Is it a beauty budget or the fear of the unknown? Because then I know what psychology I need to approach.
I love that question. I'm going to pass that along. I'm going to pass that gem along. And then in general, as we close, as we land our plane a little bit, I would love to know, your practice sounds incredible. If you could sum it up in 3 words or less, what would you use to describe what makes your practice so unique?
Outcome. The girlfriend experience. That's 1 word.
Okay. We're going to need 1 word.
And how we make you feel.
Yeah, I love that. And I can tell that even from just talking to you and just the way that you talk about your team. I mean, we, in a sea full of med spas, I mean, we have a lot of incredible injectors in our industry, but the reality is that there has to be something special about us that makes us stand out. And if you can affect the way that someone feels when they're with you, then that's a patient that you're going to have for life. And especially when you're coming from a sincere and genuine place, which obviously you guys are. So it was so fun talking to you.
Thank you.
It was nice meeting you.
Yes, you as well.
And like I said, I'm from default having met Summer, but I'm excited to have been able to talk to you. And thanks for taking time chatting with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
You can go find those espresso martinis everyone's walking around with.